Yeah. Hey, what's
How's it going, man?
going on? How you living? How you living?
Dude, real good, real good. And I want to start off by, we're saying you're from San Diego originally.
Yes, sir.
I can see the posters in the background. Have you been to Comic-Con?
Yeah, I've been to Comic Con a couple times. I'm not the biggest like comic guy, so like I can't even talk that talk. Like I can't.
Sure.
That's not my thing. But I have been. I like a couple things. It's a cool. Like I never like got in. I was a big sports guy. I got like a big like junior
Sure.
seau post like Chargers fan or whatever. But big
Absolutely.
music, Aretha, Space Jam, Jimmy, John Coltrane. You know what I'm saying? A couple Black Panther in the back. You know what I'm saying? So got a couple.
Well, I figured, if you're from San Diego, I figured I'd throw the Deadpool shirt on, wear the comics, support San Diego.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. But yeah,
Honestly, so yeah, and the first thing I wanted to kind of get into is talking about San Diego. You grew up there. There's a lot of different cultures. I mean, we talked a little bit about Comic-Con, but there's a lot of different cultures going on. There's a lot of food going on there. Can you speak a little bit to what growing up in San Diego was like and how that kind of impacted your music?
Definitely. No, definitely 100%. So yeah, growing up in San Diego, I would say it's very diverse. You got a lot of different cultures. You have a lot of people coming in and out because of the military.
Sure.
So you have a lot of just different people, different things going on. So it can also be hard to develop a culture there as well because so many people are coming in and out. But San Diego's got so many different cool cultures, and it's like a lot of communities. Like you go to a lot of places. I think San Diego. That's the cool part about San Diego is, even though it may not be a lot, there is a lot of small communities. Like San Diego, like one of the best food places I think in the country. Like if you really want like food for food, we could talk about San Diego about that because you got amazing Mexican food, the best Mexican food maybe in the country, like in the world, like. I'm telling y'all, like, no, it ain't no Tex-Mex. You can't get it in LA. You gotta go to Dago and try just that. The Mexican food, like, even like to stay afloat with your Mexican food in San Diego, like, you really gotta be like top notch. Like, there's not too many taco shops that's gonna last. Like, when we talking taco shops, we get burritos. We getting all the other things that I can't even speak on because I don't want to disrespect nobody culture.
Right.
But I know that when you go to San Diego, taco shop, the burritos. Crazy breakfast, carne asada. The carne asada fries is crazy. I'm allergic to a lot of stuff. Like I can't eat avocados. I can't do sour cream. But I don't know what I do eat is delicious. But I'm big chicken. I'm big on chicken. I love wings. It's a spot called Royal Mandarin. Top notch wings. Can't beat it. Cannot beat it. I put that on everything. I don't know what they put in a chicken, but you cannot beat it. But it's so many different spots. The barbecue is crazy. It's a lot of just really, really good spots in San Diego. So yeah, you just gotta go and check it out for yourself. Yeah, it's awesome. But the music community is awesome. Just the bars and clubs is a really good time. When you're not dealing with BS here and there. But yeah, it's really a good place. It's a fun, good place to live. It's low key. It's super out the way. But just know that we come with, we ain't on play. Like we get busy out there. So yeah, it's definitely cool for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's huge. I love. I mean, the two big things that I love about really any city is your music and your food. Like those are the two big things that I go to. I'm just recently starting to travel more, and now you mentioned wings. Like San Diego's got to be on my list for wings.
Yeah.
That's something.
Wings, definitely. This spot called Wings and Things. Or I think it's like Epic Wings now. But Wings and Things, fire. What else? Golden Chopsticks, fire. It's a spot called Cutie Pot, fire. OB Noodle House, fire. Yeah, I could give you the chicken spots. I mean, that's very stereotypical of me, but I definitely enjoy some good wings. And even just the Wingstop, the LMPs, lemon pepper wets. You know what I'm saying? Those go to. Okay, hey, there go the girlfriend. She said, "Royal Mandarin." Yeah,
Royal Mandarin.
It's fire. Okay, it's definitely fire.
Absolutely. Well, if I make it out to San Diego, I'm definitely gonna hit you up for all the food spots.
Please do. Please do. And then I'll direct you to the Homies Travelers Club. They know all the real. They really like into the food culture, and they
Sure.
definitely like 100%.
Absolutely, man. So music, and then and stemming into this, music also. There's a lot of different styles of music. There's a lot of different um, genres and ways that music branches in, and even within the hip hop community, you're starting to see a lot more styles branching out than you did, 20, 30 years ago. Sometimes it comes from a place of, sometimes it's fictional, sometimes it's fantasy, sometimes it comes from real places. And it's one of the things that I've always loved about hip hop is the ability to storytell. But with your music in particular, you bring more than just the story. There's also that ambiance to it. There's the feeling that comes with telling that story. So my question for you in regards to it is, do these songs stem from a lot of personal experience, or do you have a lot of creativity when you're, kind of trying to tell a story that fits the emotion you're trying to get at?
Probably more so the emotion. Like a lot of the stuff is real, like most, like 99% of the stuff I talk about is my life, but I usually talk about it like 2 or 3 years later. Like, so if I'm feeling something, I won't probably talk about it then. I'll probably talk about it a couple years later. My boy Jamal Virgo, who we actually got a record label with by way of us, he's really good at like writing right in the moment. Like I'm not good at that. That's not my thing. So but yeah, I'm big on like just being honest. I think that like I'm a terrible liar, like I'm bad at it. I'm just not my thing. But I think I always thought that music should be something that you relate to. I thought it should be something that speaks to your heart. And some people like to talk about things they don't live, and that's cool. That's just another way of getting art across, and however you may see it. But I've always been just like I never really like I've tried to rap about stuff I don't know about. It didn't work. It just sounded wild, and definitely just no. Let's go with negative. So I've always believed that writing and just putting across something that you can speak to, I thought was always the coolest thing, and it's something you can always live with. Because I feel like if you was telling lies in your music, at some point you're gonna have to look back at your music and say, "Oh, I never had that Rolls Royce that I was rapping about
Right.
or singing about. Like I never had that." So and that's what I think is cool, is just speaking, being true to yourself. Like if you got a Rolls Royce or you got a Maybach, you can talk about the Maybach. Like those are things that Jay-Z can do because he has those things, or Meek Mill. But I've always been just big on just writing or rapping about things that you really go through, or maybe you may see through somebody else's eyes, which I always think is cool too. But yeah, never been really too big on the braggadocious rap, but just being honest and being truthful with yourself. I think you can't beat that in any time of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you said about being relatable, because it's actually something that I wanted to talk about with you as well. And stemming from in the moment type things, I do a lot of photography and concert photography as well. And for me, it's always been in the moment type of stuff where I've always tried to capture that feeling. And so it's interesting to hear you talk about, going back and talking about things a couple years later, because I think that gives a different introspect to, there's something to be said about talking something right in the moment when it happens. But when you can sit down with it and process it and then come back to it and talk about it, I think that's really important too. And so the thing I wanted to know about that though is, and I guess you kind of answered it already, because I was going to say, are you creating music for that moment, or more so a specific feeling? So with you going towards more of a specific feeling, do you find yourself kind of picking beats that are going to tell your story as well, or do you write a song and pick a beat, or do you hear that beat and go, that's going to work with this type of?
So actually, so my process is like completely different than Orthodox. I make all my own beats. I've been doing that since 2016. So anything you've heard me on since then, check. I make everything for the most part.
Okay.
But really, I just like I'll go through, like, I keep things simple at first. Just because I like all the people I like, and just what I succumb to. I'm just like the simplicity of a lot of things. So I notice a lot of stuff. or just like even a lot of stuff. Like I would always like when I was first going through beats, like when I was younger, I'll be like, yo, this beat is dope, but I can't really put words on it, or like I can't really get my message across, or like I don't have the clearest voice, or I just need to get, or just need to have somebody actually record me. But I know that when I record myself, it's not that clear. So me having a lot of stuff going on is going to be harder for me to project and enunciate my words. So something for me, like I was just like, okay, this beat is dope, but it's got too much going on. Like I can hear like this is fire, but I can't really get my message across. And so then after a while, I started noticing, okay, so I like a little bit of more of the simpler stuff, maybe using more with the drums that work better to get more across. That sound better, but not so much pulling back, but just using what works for me, where we can make my voice make sure that it comes through so people understand what I'm saying, but also feel the production. So that was big for me. So and I really just I try to make 3 to 5 beats a day. That hasn't been the case lately because I've just been trying to handle everything else in the world. But yeah, I'll just kind of make beats, and it's like which if you feel it, like if I just feel it, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna try this. And I like to finish the whole song. I don't like to do like one verse or one chorus and then come back, because like I don't come back to anything. Like I'm terrible at like coming back to stuff. Like so that's why I like to. I know I'm bad. I'm just trash, but I like to get stuff done. And people ask me all the time, "Oh, you got an open verse?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't." Like I literally I love just finishing stuff right when I started. The homie Khalil Amani taught me that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome, and it's cool that you talk about, you know, you've been doing everything since 2016, because the
yeah,
the producing
yes,
production
definitely.
side,
June 1st, 2016.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the one of the projects that you put out that I think personally I related to the most was the Lost Files,
Mm-hmm.
and it just came from, you know, just the whole mood of the entire album there was just something that, for whatever reason, I don't know, it just hit me, and I was sucked into it right away.
Yeah, cool.
But I do like what you said about stripping it back a little bit and making it a little bit more simplistic beat, because I feel like artists that are telling a story, a lot of times that's what you need, is a little bit more pulled back on it, because it allows your voice to really come out too. So I do really like that's the style and that's the process, because I hear it come out when it comes through.
Yeah, and it's like and like we've been just playing with it, and I work with, I got a project with my boy. I got 2 projects with my boy with my boy Smooth Black. One is called The Summer Pack, and the other one just we dropped 2 songs called Poison and Perfect. And we've been working since 2016 as well. He found me on SoundCloud, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you're dope. Come through." Like I'm living in San Diego at the time. He's like, "Come through," and I like hit my homie. I'm like, "Hey, if I die, here's my location."
Yeah.
Going to this house, like, because San Diego, there's not a lot of I wouldn't say there's not a lot of opportunities, but there's a lot less opportunity in San Diego. And so, or opportunities that are trustworthy. I think that's another conversation that need to be had at another time. But opportunities that you trust, because you can have a bunch of opportunities, but if the opportunities aren't, trustworthy, it can kind of deter you and discourage you. So,
sure,
definitely get it. But he hit me up like, "Hey, come through." I was like, "Sure, cool." I went to, we formed a relationship ever since then. And then when I came, we reconnected, not like we disconnected, but he was doing movies and stuff for a little while. We reconnect. He was like, "Yo, I got, like, let's work." So I get in there. He's like, "Yo, when I was making music first, I was doing too much. I was trying too much stuff. And like, he's like, I noticed with your music, he's like, where you really shine is where we pull back. We got the same quality, but we just pull back on some of the instruments, or just add them in afterwards, or just keep them in the background so that you can really project your voice and really just come through." But that's what works for me. Find what works for you. Because I also dropped a song a week. I did it twice. The first time I was like, this is way too much. Like, I'm not doing this. I was just going on YouTube and finding beats. But the second time I did it, I dropped a song a week for a year, and that's when everything started to kind of change for my career a little bit. Not like I'm balling or anything like that, but that's when things started to pick up, and then we started doing more shows. We go on places and things like that, and people really liked it. So After all that, I had like a catalog, or still got a catalog, like 60, 70 songs that we like, okay, we know what happened. We saw what did good and we saw what did bad.
Right.
A lot of failures. But there were some things that we can build on, like, okay, when Amon makes a song like this, he's going to get this amount of plays. Okay, when you make a song like this, you're probably not going to get too many. People ain't really rocking with it. So
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. And that's something that, I wanted to get into eventually too. You just answered the question that I was about to ask about the 52 weeks, and kind of what you learned through that. And it's cool to see, not only did you get to put out this big catalog of music, but then you get to look back at it and be like, well, these are the styles that people are really rocking with. And a year is a lot. That's a lot of music to be putting out every week. But I think that also it gives you a big enough pool to work from, whereas if you're doing it for a month, you may not know how many people are really going to be doing it. So that 50 songs, I think, gives you a really big pool to work with and see what people really enjoy.
Yeah, and it's like I was just like, hey, nothing is really happening for me, so let's just try it and see what happens. Like, just take a shot. I was just like, I really don't care to fail. I think I come from a skateboarding background, so I just really just don't care on failing, I guess. And I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but I was just like, yo, we're gonna try it and see what happens.
Boy, I got the
music. Well, hey, X Gang, hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I love it. I have skateboards on the wall. Some here. There's a skateboard. But it's just like I was just skateboarding and did a lot for me, and just kind of took that kind of mindset and just, hey, you can do anything. Like, you may fail a couple times, like you may fail a lot of times. You may fail 160 times, but 171 may be it. I would do a kickflip right now, but I don't know where my car is, and I don't have my shoes in here. But
so who
on my page, I think there's some stuff, or maybe on my Twitter. But yeah, definitely.
Who would you put at your top for skateboarders?
Of all time?
Yeah, we'll go all time.
I got Antoine Dixon. I got Brian Herman up there. I definitely got P-Rod. Shane O'Neill's up there for sure. Who else? Mike Moe. He was just that part in Fully Flared was just outrageous. Who else I got in my top 5 skateboarding? Who else? There's a lot of people. Najee Houston's up there for sure. I know he's like the popular guy, but bro is just insane. Chris
There's
Johnson,
a reason he's popular. He's crazy.
Like, it's not a sport where you just it's not he's insane. Chris Johnson, I think, is crazy, bro. I think he changed the game. I don't think he gets enough credit, but Andrew Reynolds, the boss.
Andrew Reynolds. Yeah, for me, growing up, I grew up in the 90s, so, I grew up with Tony Hawk games. I grew up with all that. And you had, guys like, now I'm forgetting. He created, every trick ever, and I'm forgetting his name.
You got Rodney Mullen, Eric Costin, Steve Barra. You got those guys.
Yeah, and I think Rodney Mullen had an absurd amount of tricks that he could do.
Day One's definitely up there too, for sure.
Yeah, and then you had Kareem Campbell, and you had guys. Yeah, it was just, and that was great, and that's why I was so in love with skateboarding. Growing up in the 90s, it was like, you couldn't get away from skateboarding in the 90s. So for me, anyways. So yeah, one of the last things I wanted to talk about was your Project Black that you dropped. I didn't really even want to ask any questions about it. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of talk about it, because I know this was something that was very personal to you, especially at the times, and we talked a little bit about reflecting on stuff, but this is a point where you dove right into this subject, and I was just curious kind of on your creation process and what it really meant to you.
I just made Black. I made Black a couple years ago. That's just it's just my life. It's not being Black isn't a hashtag or a trend or something that's a walk for a couple hours, and then you just go back home. That's nah, this is my life. So it was just I just wrote the song because I write about what I go through. I've been a victim of so many just random things. Like I don't want to get into it again, but I mean, it's just like, it's my life. Like we got pinned up in New York for something that I didn't do just because I was black and had a hoodie on. I was, pinned up with the police for 8 hours or whatever the case may be. Like, it happened in San Diego, right down the street from my house. They said I couldn't. I robbed a hotel down the street because they said the description was a black guy. Like, what, man? Like, y'all crazy, like just running from the police every time, saying, hey, y'all can't skate here, like just dealing with that. And what's up in high school, so it's just like something I've always dealt with, even like in middle school when I was like a kid, like, hey, why is so-and-so so dark, or why is he so black, or da-da-da-da-da, X, Y, and Z. That's just stuff I dealt with my whole life. So it's like, and then you just look on the internet and see black people being killed for no reason. Like, and even if there is a reason to maybe arrest somebody, there's no reason to kill somebody. But then the other thing is, why are they being arrested? Like, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But it's just like, it don't make no type of sense. Like, because the melanin in my skin is different than the one in yours, you have a whole hate or angst against a people or a society or a culture that causes you to do these things. Like, why are you sitting on somebody's neck for even 5 minutes? Like, what did you not learn in police academy that you had to put your knee on somebody's neck because you couldn't grapple them or understand how to properly arrest somebody? I seen Dylan Roof cap, or I didn't see it, but he off them people in that church, and this man got a whole damn burger and fries, and then they took him to jail after he done killed 7 people. Like, what is you doing? Like, that ain't never happened to no black man. I ain't seen no black guy do that. They ain't never did that to no black guy. I haven't seen it. If a black man killed 5 people right now, he's done. They are lighting him up. There's no Burger King stop. We not stopping by In-N-Out. Nah, he is done. It's not happening. It's not happening for us. Like, we don't get that opportunity. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. I'm not gonna say never, but that's just like, it's just a reality to me. It's my real life. Like, I can't go outside and change my skin tone. But that's what, there are so many different things that, as a black man, a black woman, trans, whatever pigmentation of black you are, there's issues and things you are gonna have to deal with. Like, and it's just life. Like, there's not much we can do about it or change about it. So yeah, my bad if I got off a little bit, but yeah.
No, and I, one of the reasons why I ask you to speak on it is because I think having that conversation is important to a lot of different people. A lot of people that may not understand it or may not know that that's happening. I grew up in a town of 60 people in the middle of Wisconsin where it was just a bunch of German people. Like, that's just what it was. So there's a lot of things that even, I've been here in Minnesota for about 4 or 5 years now, and I'm still learning a ton of stuff about all sorts of different cultures, all sorts of different backgrounds and stuff that I just never knew. I wanted to give you kind of the chance to just speak on that, because it is, and I want everybody that's paying attention, that sees this in the future, to check out the song, because I think it is not only a great song, it's great lyrically. It's the production on it, the beat to it, I thought made the most sense to put on that beat. Like, it just, all of it came together really, really impressive. But I think it's also a great message to have there as well.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was the point. I just wanted to just get something now. Just I felt like it was right, and it just made sense. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And so with that being said, I kind of want to jump into the heart of this, which is what this podcast interview series is about. It's called Quarantine Questions. So what we do is we ask all of our artists that jump on here just a list of like 3 to 5 short answer questions just about life in quarantine.
Okay, cool.
So the first one is, which artist is heavily on your playlist during this quarantine?
Who's on my playlist heavy during this quarantine? I would have to say, dang, I don't even know. I ain't even listening to music. I guess myself. Lil Baby seems to come up a lot. Lil Baby seems to come up a lot lately. So I would say Lil Baby for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second question here is, being in quarantine, it forces you to kind of be alone with yourself a little bit more often.
Right.
And I find, I've lived by myself for about 3-4 years. I have a roommate now, but before, I find myself doing a lot of odd things when I'm by myself for a while. Like the biggest thing I do is I make a lot of weird faces. And it doesn't even sometimes it's when I'm like singing a music or something, but a lot of times it's just like, for whatever reason, I'm just making odd faces, and I'll catch myself and I'll be like, man, what am I doing right now? And so what's one thing that you've kind of caught yourself doing and been like, man, what am I doing right
now? Playing this game called Airport City. I don't know why I got so addicted to this game, but it's called Airport City. It had the coolest ad online. And I was like, airport. I thought it was going to be actually like landing planes, because I have a weird fascination with planes. I don't know why, but I think they're cool. So, like, I'll watch random things on YouTube about airplane tires and why they don't bust when they hit the ground. Like, I just like weirdly. It's not all the time, but like, if I see something about airplanes, I'm going to check it out. And maybe because I'm paranoid, because I don't want to like die on an airplane. That seemed like a lame way to go out. So, not even lame way, but just like I would want to go out like a little bit more exciting than like a flight. I wouldn't want to, not that I want to go out or anything.
Sure.
Like that, but just the airplane, just, I don't know. It's just, I think it's such a fascinating thing and so on and so forth. But Airplane City, the game is nothing like the ad. Like completely, I don't know where they got that from, but it's very enticing, and I definitely like playing it. So I play that a lot. You got to build like your own city, like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but with it.
Okay, right.
You got to land planes, but I haven't spent any money on. I haven't spent any money on it yet, so that's a good part. Yeah. I closed one day. I was like, you know what? They're like, they don't let you do certain things until you spend a certain amount of money. So I see what they did, but
yeah, that's fair enough. All right, so the next question I have for you is, early on in the year, a lot of people are getting into their diets. Everybody's trying to get back into shape for summertime and for going out to the beach and everything. But COVID came in and just kind of threw that right out the window. So what's one thing during quarantine that you've either eaten way too much of or like you can't get enough of?
Probably eating way too much waffles. I love Eggo waffles for some strange reason. I got like a special way of cooking them, and they fire. So they say Eggo waffles for sure, and like lemon pepper wets. But I eat those pretty normally.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's great. And I don't like Eggo waffles, but they have those French toast sticks, and that's where I come in.
Yeah, I definitely haven't had any of those, but I gotta try some. Sure.
Absolutely. So we talked about some of these things, but 2020 has kind of just been stress month after stress month with the virus, with everything that's been happening with the social movements lately, with the election year being this year, with just everything kind of culminating all at once. And it can be a lot to take on for a lot of people. So what's one thing that you found kind of helps you de-stress and kind of decompress and recharge for going back at it?
Just making music. That's cool. Just kicking with the family, the lady, the homies. Like, not like I live in a house with 3 of my best friends, so we obviously have fun and just talk about things. But making music and just talking it out, just really making music, like. And just building up the credit, just getting my credit right, just getting life ready to go on tour when we can, because I think that's the biggest thing. I think right now is the time to kick it with your family safely, social distance, not too much sober distancing, but if you got a sober distance, do what you have to do, but safely. Do it safely. But yeah, it's just I think just knowing that there will be a cure at some point. We don't know when, but at some point, something will come up, and we'll be ready to go back into. Wouldn't say the way things were, but people will be a little bit more cautious for sure. But eventually, it may be a couple years, but the world will get back to functioning. I think they just kind of forgot that these things can happen, and I don't think they'll make this mistake again. But we have enough tools and resources to prevent it. Like there was preventative measures that could have been took and they weren't, but you know what I'm saying? Not my job, place, or time to speak of things. But but I think this time is like time to get your stuff right. Get like, you know, if you can like get your paper right, pay off your debts, understand, learn the stock market, understand credit, understand ownership. I think this is a perfect time to do that, because when things open back up for real, and maybe in a year, 2 years, whatever it is, you want to be ready. Like, if you're a musician, understand how to go on the road and really like do your research, understand how to plan something, and really just plan things out. Because my thing is, when the world opens up, it's time to, that's when you start doing the shows and really just understanding how you can, you know, how to really get to it. So I think this time is a perfect time to plan, pay off your debts, build your credit up, and then when everything is ready to go, really attack. Or if you got a dream or goal or passion or something, this is the time to really like hone in on it, or learn something, or try a bunch of things too. Like this is the perfect time. So it's so much, like obviously we're at home, but it's like mostly there's not too much you can't do at your home anymore. Like you got whole jobs who was like, okay, we got to figure out how to let people work from home, and they did.
Right.
And now you got a laptop at home that wouldn't have been, you know. So, but also you want to stay safe, you know. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just taking this time to either like build on what you was thinking about or what you've been dreaming about forever. Like this is the perfect time if you can do it at home. Like if you're trying to be a rocket scientist, I would probably suggest, you know, doing it at home. But
right.
read on something, learn how to like take what you was doing maybe to another level, or just try something, fail at a couple things. Like we'll probably be in the house for the rest of the year. So
right. You're right. Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you entirely on the aspect of doing something else. I mean, it's a perfect time to focus on one of those things, and even if it's not something that's going to be a new business or a new venture, you know, for me it was drawing. I always liked drawing, but I never really went and did it. So then, you know, when it first hit, I was not laid off, but I was just basically, they said there's nothing you can do anymore, because I was doing leasing at an apartment complex. Yeah. So I was on paid leave essentially, and it was like a month of me sitting there going like, all right, like I've played video games now for like a week. I'm kind of over them. Like I can't sit around and just do nothing. So I need something creative. And so I just went and bought a bunch of like notebooks and pencils and a bunch of different things, and just started messing around with it. And now it's something that I find like de-stresses me. And so then I just go, you know, I'm having a bad day, I'll just go home and just, you know, draw some Pokemon or draw some characters. I do a lot of comic book characters. It's the one thing I've been drawing the most of. But
that's so fire. Hey, that's fire, man. That's so fire. Like keep that up. Like, and see, that's dope. And just finding your outlet. Like that's
absolutely.
So fun. Like, you know, and this is the time. Like you can learn how to make comics at this point. Like if you wanted to,
right?
Like, you know, you can draw. You can make your own if you so choose to.
Yeah, right. And that's. I mean, I'd love to. As right now, it's a lot of like just kind of like looking at photos and drawing them and trying to figure out how to do a lot of different things. But it's coming. It's coming. So the last question I have for you here is, you know, as the world starts to open back up, you know, we're starting to slowly see things come back into society. What's one thing that like you just can't wait to come back into society?
Yeah, I mean, I already said like just doing like concerts, man. Just concerts. And I'm a big sports guy, but like I don't really care. Like I like it, but like I want to see the concerts come back and just be able to just give somebody a hug or like dab somebody up without like doing the elbow, like just human interaction. Like it's just like it's strange doing a whole like I'm not trying to like we all get out here, but yeah, I think just being able to travel and just do shows and just get back to. I'm just excited to be back in just like a regular, like half semi-regular space where everybody's not like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think definitely the concerts is the most exciting, because that's the only thing like it's really been taken from us is the concerts and the sporting events. But I feel like you have a lot more fun at concerts and sporting events. I mean, sporting events be fun, but everybody's like focused on one thing.
Right.
kind of can turn and interact and just everybody there for like one message or whatever the case may be. So I would definitely say just the concert situation and traveling. Yeah, definitely trying to travel with the ladies soon. Go see.
Awesome. Yeah, what's high up there on places for you to go for traveling?
Definitely trying to go to Africa. Definitely trying to go to Africa, like Paris. I've been to Paris before, but I like to go back. But Africa, for sure. I don't know where in Africa, but definitely want to go visit. Feel like I haven't, like, that's one place like I haven't really gone yet, or have not gone at all. So I think that would be a cool trip. And I don't even, Africa's a big continent, so I don't know where yet, but it seemed like Nigeria seemed cool and so on and so forth. So I just gotta, yeah, in due time, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, the last thing that we're going to kind of do here is just go back through and see if there was any questions, if anybody has questions currently to ask. I know one I saw was, when you were talking about, being really, you've been researching a lot about planes and about how certain things go. Somebody had asked what your favorite plane was, or if you had a favorite plane.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the other one I saw was, and this is a good for anybody that's not familiar with you, is what song of yours would you say you would put up front for somebody to listen to first?
Mm, uh, hmm. Lately's a good one. Lately's a good one. Check to Check is a good one as well. Process seems to be a good one that people really like. So yeah, I'll definitely say one of those three. Or Left. People like
I was
Left
gonna
too.
say Left was gonna be up there for me. That's personally, I'm a big fan of that song.
So yeah, any of those. I like all my songs. So
Right.
whatever you're looking for. I mean, there's Paid Off is a cool one. Like About It is really cool. It's whatever you want. I mean, it's kind of like what you're going through. Like you may be in a relationship funk or just trying to find something new, or you may be happy where you at. So Happy is a dope track. So anything, or you can listen to Greed that just dropped. Like we just dropped the music video for that. So it's
Yeah.
really whatever you feeling. I got a bunch of different modes. So but I would definitely say somewhere in between those 10 songs.
Yeah.
Super,
Take them all.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, the last thing I want to do is just kind of open it up to you to talk to everybody. Tell them what you got going on, if you got merch, if you got songs or albums coming up, and just kind of talk to them about whatever you're feeling right now.
Yeah, so songs are coming out. I don't know when. We just got to figure it out. We got to finish mixing them, but songs are coming out at some point. And we're just going to put out a lot more video content right now and just really kind of rebuild. Because I didn't take a break from music, but I had to step back and get things right in the real life for a little while and so on. But yeah, stuff is coming out soon. We're going to be dropping a lot of music, a lot of content, just talking and moving. Then the merchandise is coming as well once I design it. I've been lazy on that, but that's on the to-do list. But yeah, we're just really trying to like be consistent with something. I think the biggest thing that people may miss in a lot of just genres and things is like, hey, why am I not here? Why I'm not there? Like, I think consistency seems to be the biggest thing that I've seen that seems to work in most fields. If I had a book, it'd be called Consistency. Like the best part of my career when I was consistent at dropping a song a week for a year. The best part of like, when you may be at a job, like people keep you there because you're consistent. People like LeBron James. I mean, obviously he's a good guy, but he's consistent at his game. He gets 30 points and 30, 10 and 10 seems to be his average, which is one of the best in the league. Like you good at your job, you still at your job because you got consistent at something. You consistently got people into those apartments, so they're like, oh, that's when you get the raise. When you're consistently good at something, you get, what I'm saying, that's when you start to see some, or even be consistently bad, like Ice JJ Fish. bro, music. I don't say his music is terrible, but his voice isn't pleasing to a lot of ears.
Right.
But he was so consistent in his message, whatever that may be. It blew him up. It was quick. He ain't around no more. But I say the name. You probably got a funny face.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly the.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just think that understanding consistency and whatever that is, like, you don't got to drop a song a week, but like whatever you do drop, make sure like you're consistent with it. So that's our goal and like term for the year, and that's like kind of the new motto I'm living by. Like even just being consistent in a relationship or just being consistent with working out. You get consistent at working out, you're gonna have that body that you was looking for, you know. So I think just being consistent is the next goal that I'm trying to really build on in this music thing. So whether that be with consistent projects or music videos or whatever the case may be, when we hit it, we want to hit it and keep going and just not letting it stop. You know, I think that's why the baby just blew up, because he was just so consistent in what he was doing. And just look at the Drakes of the world and Kendrick and Cole. They don't miss, you know, they just consistent. Look at Chef Curry, boy, just putting up 2 million threes. And so when he shoot it go in, he don't miss. So, you know, consistency that's if I can leave y'all with anything today, just be consistent. If you playing football, you want to just get consistent with your routes. Because if you catch the ball consistently every time Kaepernick throw it to you, you're gonna be the #1 receiver in the league. Look at Michael Thomas, you know what I'm saying? If you J.K. Rowling, if you Angela Davis, you know what I'm saying? You a leader. You give enough consistent, powerful speeches, guess where you gonna be? Where you wanna be. So yeah, consistency for sure.
Yeah, and it's you know, it goes back. There's I'm forgetting who the guy is that says it, but you know, he talks about if you make your bed every single day, it's one little thing, but every single day you put aside a little bit of time to make your bed. That's going to get you up earlier because you're going to go, okay, I got to make my bed. Then you can push it a little bit further and you go, okay, every day I'm going to do 10 push-ups. And, you know, that consistency that you're talking about, it creates habits. And when you're doing good things consistently, creating good habits, it's bound to break through with everything else.
Easily, 100%. Definitely. Hit it right on the head. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, hey, I just want to say thanks again for tuning in with us. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us. Please go listen to this. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I was not familiar with your work until somebody reached out to me about it. And I'll tell you what, the first song I heard was Check to Check. And and it just resonated really well with me, especially in these times. And then I just started diving in, like I said, the Lost Files. It really, I mean, I'm going to start listening to everything now. Like I'm going to really pull up and just start streaming everything up. And I want to tell everybody, like, this is one of the reasons I love doing this, is being introduced to artists like you that really do just connect instantly with me and being able to just become an instant fan. So if you come through Minnesota, I'll definitely buy a ticket. I'll be at your show. I'll take photos.
Hey, and we got to talk about it. Like, if you got a connection out, or not even connection, if you would like to throw something, like, I pretty much run all my shows. So, I would definitely, like, your energy is awesome, bro. We'll definitely have to connect. And we should, if you want to collaborate on something as well. I don't know too many people out there. But like, man, you cool. Like, I've been in a lot of interviews. It's definitely one of the cooler ones, man. Like,
hey. I appreciate it, man.
We'll definitely come out there and when we can, when the world is okay.
Right. When we start to open up a little.
Exactly. So, but y'all. So no problem, man. This is dope. This is super dope, and I appreciate it. Hey, it don't matter when you become a fan, as long as that AC on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Keep it cool.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, enjoy your time. We'll link up here. I'm sure once everything opens up, and we'll talk then.
Cool. Yes, you have a nice one. It's been real. Y'all be safe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have a good night.